Hello, my name's Jane Newsome and I'm a friend of St Anne's Chasetown. I guess I'm not alone in finding that with the easing of lockdown, one of the blessings has been being able to see my grandchildren. The first time I saw them was in their garden and we played lots of energetic games, football and catch and all sorts of things, so much so that I wanted to sit down and a cup of tea. But the youngest grandson came to me and said, "Granny, let's play hide and seek." And I said, "Oh, I'm just going to sit down and have a cuppa." And he said, "No, Granny, you promised, and a promise is a promise." Well, of course, he was right. So I had to abandon a cup of tea and play hide and seek. Because promises are really important, aren't they? They're the basis of really good relationships. Nationally, they're important. We get very frustrated when politicians, for whatever reason, break promises. But on the other side of that, we were so blessed by a National Health Service that kept the promise to look after us, to care for us at the point of service, whatever our need. And that's why we came out on a Thursday to applaud them. Keeping promises is really important. It's what makes the basis of a good long-term relationship. The promise to stay together in sickness and in health is what forms the basis of a good long-term partnership and is what is so devastating when that promise is broken. As a Christian, I believe that I serve a promise-keeping God. The books of the Old Testament, those books that were written before the birth of Jesus, tell of a promise-keeping God who starts that relationship with the people of Israel by talking to Abraham and his wife Sarah. We're told that that couple were unable to have children, and when they lamented that fact with God, God takes them outside, shows them the night sky and says, "Look at the stars in the sky. I promise you that your descendants will be as numerous as the stars in the sky." And God keeps that promise. And all the way through the books of the Old Testament, we see God keeping his promise to be with the children of Israel when they go astray, when they go and worship other gods, when they get things wrong, when they mess up. God's steadfast love remains. And then in the New Testament, which tells the story of the life of Jesus, the life, the ministry, the death and the resurrection of Jesus, we see right at the end of St Matthew's Gospel, Jesus saying to his disciples, just before he's about to be taken up into heaven, he says, "I will be with you right to the end of the age." That's a promise that I, as a Christian, have found all the way through my life to be really important. It's kept me going through the tough times, that whatever I experience, God is with me, and God's steadfast love never wavers. I don't know about you, but I've found that lockdown has made me reassess what's important, what my priorities are. You know, in a previous busy life before lockdown, it was very easy to say, "Oh, we must meet up sometime," or "I'll give you a call sometime." And then months go past and you've never actually done that. But for those who are self-isolating during lockdown, the promise to keep in touch was really, really important. And people who've been self-isolating, who've had to keep themselves at home because of some underlying health issue, have really been kept going by those faithful promise keepers who've phoned them regularly, who've Zoomed them, Skyped them. Keeping promises is really important. Because, as my grandson said, a promise is a promise. And so maybe one of the lessons that we can learn from lockdown is promises are not to be made lightly, and promises are to be kept.